Welcome to the Gransberry Pick'ems Weekly Pick'em. Yeah, I said it that way. It's week 15. I was feeling the music. I thought I was about to rap for a second. So, excuse me, but you know what it is. It's the Weekly Pick'ems. And I got my boy, Coach B. Pat, on my left. And I got my boy D Jones on my right, and we all know who's in last place. Raise your hand if you're in last place. Say ho! It's you, Big Pat. It's you. Merry Christmas early to you, because you're going to still be in last place after this week, even with your picks. Look, we're not going to keep you long tonight, but man, I know you done heard about it all week. I know you watched it too. We have to give a little time to the best game of the season so far. That's right. It was Baltimore versus Cleveland.
Yeah.
It was everything. And you know what? It was almost our game of the week. We debated which game would be the game of the week, and we did. This was our backup game of the week, and it turned out to be the best game. We know division rivals are always good games, but this was more than a division rivalry. Like, I think this game is like a mini series of its own, from the injuries to the locker room to coming back. It doesn't even matter if it was a restroom break, a potty break, a change in pants, whatever it was. It was dynamic, and when everybody needed to make a play, they made a play. This just literally came down to who had the ball last. Guys, tell me, I mean, we were chatting back and forth this entire game, so just, briefly tell me how you were feeling about that.
Man, I was like, this is the best reality TV. That's why I love sports, right? So we watching this. It's got drama. It's got intrigue. It's got excitement. I was like, oh my God. And for Superman to come out right when the guy gets hurt, I'm like, when he went down, I'm like, oh crap, who's going to play quarterback? And then Superman coming out of there. I said, oh man, come on now. I knew then they was going to win. What'd you say? Coach, was you tripping on it?
It was 4th and 5, and Lamar comes out. I'm thinking he's going to take it rolling outside. Think he was going to try to run over somebody, and Brown just breaks wide open, and then Baker goes down and slides in for a touchdown, and then next thing you know, they go down on a field goal, and Gransberry was like, "Man, Tucker get on the field is a wrap." Tucker got on the field, it was a wrap.
Exactly. Exactly. It was one of those games where it was like when people kept saying, I missed the game last night, but I caught the highlights. No, go back and watch the game. It was everything. And usually when we see a game with that high of a score, we think that there's no defense, right? But it was just every team making a play, giving everything they had down to the last second. I mean, even with the safety, the Browns were still trying to make a play. And so you still was watching like, okay, is it going to work? You still were like, it's over. But, and I mean, you couldn't ask for a better kicker to have to kick the field goal, right? Like, nobody was at home like, do you think he'll make it? Will he make it? You was all like, oh, money.
When they got on the other side of the 50, I was like, that's it. That's in now.
Right. Now, unfortunately, our home team, they might have had too much pizza in Chicago. We still not sure. Or they thought they was on the other side of the lake and still in Detroit. I don't know really what happened, but
they still in Houston. They still up to Chicago.
Well, I don't know, but it's all forgiven. I made it out to Lefty's Cheesecake, and tried out Deshaun's new franchise. It was excellent. My mom enjoyed her food. I actually can't wait to go back with you guys and try something different on the menu. That's my free plug to Deshaun. I think he picked a good franchise to be a part of. It's got something for everybody to eat. And I'm funny about my food. I don't just throw out my recommendations. And I'm a bread connoisseur. The bread, the buns for the hamburgers. Yeah, I know we're supposed to be talking about football, but it's kind of about football, right? So shout out to that. And if you get a chance, the one on Kirby is open. But, as always, D. Jones, it's time for you to move into those games that we need to get out the way, because we still got some good games to talk about this week. So get them out the way, D.
For sure. This week's Get Them Out the Way picks, we all picked the same picks on these games. So Vegas over Detroit. We got Buffalo over Denver. We got Green Bay to beat Carolina. Seattle to take out Washington. That Washington D showed up last week, crazy. Baltimore to take care of Jacksonville. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Tennessee will massacre Detroit. It's not even going to be a game. And then the Rams, 17-point favorites over the Jets. They'll take care of that. And then also Pittsburgh to take care of Cincinnati. That's this week's Get Them Out the Way picks.
I can't believe we all picked the same teams. Look, that means Brandon finally getting some sense. Okay, then. So
just wait. Just keep going.
No. I said some sense. I said some.
Hey.
So I still left room. I left room. He gonna be dreaming like his shirt. So we're gonna move on to game one. Game one this week is San Francisco versus Dallas. You know, Dallas tried to get a little rhythm going. They was in Cincinnati. Shout out to Hot Dog that's on Beyond the Game, Kentucky. He's a diehard Cowboys fan. Took his son to his first game with him to see the Cowboys play in Cincinnati. They got to see a win. I mean, those memories, man, as D. Jones said earlier, football is the greatest reality TV on earth. I don't watch reality TV. I'm not against it if you do, but I don't watch it at all. I watch sports for my reality. I am so into every game. People think I'm just like a Texans fan, but the start of a game, I have the same energy I'm looking to see. Now, obviously, we're always picking against the Jets every week, right? Except Brandon. He was almost close, but close only counts in horseshoes. But it's something about a kickoff. It's something about when you get down to the nitty gritty of a grimy game like Monday night, you know, when you just aren't sure what could happen. Even in our loss to Indy a few weeks back, you just were not sure. You did not expect that good of a game. You know, the stat line said, yes, it's a division game and the Texans don't have enough. That was our first week without Fuller, our first week without Roby. But when teams want to play, they can bring it. So I just think that Dallas can get them another win and get them a little momentum going. I still think they need to sign Dak. I still think the best option for them is Dak. They've actually moved to number 32 in offense. 32. It's only 32 teams. So if you don't have Dak and you're number 32 and you was in the top 5 for offense when he was on the field, I don't even know why it's a question. But hey, D. Jones, who you picking? Because I say let's give it to the star.
Yeah, I'm going with Dallas on this too. I agree with you 100%. Pay the man. His value was shown as soon as he went down the following week. Andy will be able to manage this game. I don't really believe in San Francisco's quarterback situation. Dallas defense kind of got going last week. Scored a couple, I think at least one time, I know for sure. So I think Dallas will take care of San Francisco here. Look for San Francisco to run a lot because that defense still struggled there. But yeah, I'll go with the Cowboys on this. What you say, Coach?
I'm going with San Francisco. Mozart is back. Mozart is back for San Francisco, and they still got a slim chance of trying to make the playoffs. So, and I think they're doing that from that aspect. But like you said, Dallas is 32nd, and I think 32nd in offense, and I think Slayer will have enough defense against their offense. So I'm going with the 49ers.
Yeah, and even if you get the pick, you'll still be in last place. So moving on to the next game, we have Chicago versus Minnesota. Great matchup for a division game. A lot on the line, similar to Cleveland versus Baltimore. Minnesota still in a dogfight. You know, Trubisky might be feeling good about himself after beating Houston, but I don't care how good he feel. I'm going to try to go ahead. Is Cooks playing? Tell me, B.
Yes.
He's playing?
Yes.
It's a tough one, but I mean, I'm going to lean to Minnesota at home. D. Jones?
Yeah, I go Minnesota here. Trubisky did well against our JV team that played with Deshaun last week, but
really,
yeah. But Cooks is going to have a big game, so I'm going Minnesota at home here. Coaches on you.
Trubisky got his feel-good medicine last week. I hate that he did against our team.
He got an overdose.
He got an overdose and whatever, you know.
He called lightning in a bottle.
Yes.
That's what he called. Lightning in a
Yes.
bottle. He ain't getting that twice.
I can't see Mike Zimmer losing this game. They got a playoff chance. They're trying to get a chance in the playoffs. So do the Bears, but Kirk Cousins is better than Trubisky. I just don't see Trubisky going twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row, and doing that, and then having a nice little running game. So it's just a battle of the running backs. Montgomery against Cook. Cook's going out. I'm going with Minnesota.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's why I wanted to know. Like, that's like my determining factor. I think, I still see Cousins as like an advanced, game manager, right? He doesn't really lose you games, but he needs the run game, because if he has to throw too much, then he can suffer a little bit when the pressure starts to come. So I'm gonna lean that way. Now let's move on out to South Side, down south, and we got New England versus Miami. Last week I think Miami was in the best position you could be. You got the Chiefs to turn over the ball 3 times, but I think some of the inexperience, you wasn't able to capitalize every time. So with that, I think this week Miami has enough to beat New England. We've all seen the struggles kind of keep unfolding with Cam. It's not just that he doesn't have all the pieces around him that New England is used to. It's also, some accountability of failing with the pieces he has around him. And I think right now, Miami is playing more like a unit. And, and hard as it is to say, even with all the coaching of Belichick, I think Miami's going to pull this one out. Division games are always great, but I think Miami is feeling like they want to rebound. They missed the opportunity to stay in a game, with the lead team in the AFC, competitive wise. So I'm going to lean with Miami. Coach?
Miami is great. They're competitive. They're going to be outstanding, but they're playing a rookie at quarterback against Belichick. I mean, it's a quarterback. I mean, it's a rookie, and Edelman's supposed to come back too. Might come back. I'm going ahead and go with New England Patriots. I don't see Belichick losing down south in this one. It's going to be a close one, though. Not a field goal game, but a close one. What you say, D. Jones?
Belichick has lost there plenty times.
That's why I was like, okay.
I think last year.
I think they underestimated them on the last play. On top of that,
yeah. So
that's true, but still.
So Miami is only a 2-point favorite. That's the respect of Belichick. If you like to play the games, this is one I would definitely play because Miami is going to win by more than 2 points. So I'm going Miami on this. New England is suffering. They hurting this year. I'm a Belichick fan. I believe in Belichick, but nah, I'm gonna go with what they got going on in Miami this week.
But it's a playoff opportunity for New England, and I don't see it.
It is for Miami as well. Miami's still in the league for
Miami has to keep winning.
Miami,
they have to keep winning.
Yeah,
keep playing too, and they're gonna lose this.
And
week,
they still in contention for the division, right? The Buffalo hasn't won the division, so
Buffalo's probably gonna.
They probably, but
no, that's not what he asked. He said, "Are they still in contention?"
I know. I think Buffalo clinched that. I think
no. The only team that's clinched is Kansas City.
You're right. You're right.
Thank you.
Miami's still in division race because it was New England that was eliminated from the division. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Next.
That Nan's next. I control next. I control. What's the name of the show? I control next. Don't try to move on because you're trying to go solo and you wanna get this pick. I see you got a little co-signer, Michael Conley. I see you got a little co-signer, but I'm willing to
play the other way.
Right. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that Cam have 2 turnovers.
He can have 2 turnovers. They're gonna win. Hey, look, Kansas City had 3.
Oh, baby, please don't ever compare what Kansas City do to anybody else, not even us. No, I ain't just saying. Because every team, no, sir. Because every team with 3 turnovers loses, but Kansas City. Because Patrick Mahomes can score in 15 seconds. You should stop. Right now, while you was ahead, you gonna start
New
swimming back.
England is winning this game.
All right, even with that win, you in last place. So we moving on to Philly and Arizona. Last week was a great time for Philly. Oh man, I know if you watched last week's show, you need to check it out on YouTube because I gave a whole spiel about why Philly would win and Hurts would win, and then I stuck with the Saints as my pick. But in fairness, that was my pick before we got on air. But when I got on air, I got so caught up into thinking about Hurts and his play that I gave this whole spiel that had my co-host like, wait a minute, is she switching her pick? No, I kept my pick, but I'm still happy for the way the game turned out. It was almost like my pick was exactly the way it played out. I was just like, this would be. And that was the top defense, right? Like he didn't just barely win either. Even with the costly fumble toward the end, he got right back out there and got his team in the right position to hold on to a win. So, the pressure, this is your biggest stage, right? He done already done all he could do when he was at Alabama, all he could do at Oklahoma. And I think he's ready. He's ready for round 2. This is, a road game. So I think the good start was he started out at home. And I really think he can compete just as well with Arizona. And it's so funny, right? Like his last year of college eligibility was in Oklahoma. Kyler, Oklahoma. So, let's see how these guys play it out, make it out. But I'm going to see. I'm going to give Philly the edge again. I really think he could get on the road and get it going. Everybody came to play. They actually played 3 sides of football last week. And so what I like about it is I don't think it's all on Hurts. And I think that gives you a little bit more of a competitive edge. I'm not really sold on Arizona's defense. They had some good feel-good medicine last week, but when they're up against the stronger teams, their defense is a little lacking, and I think that their line can get a little bit more pressure on Kyler. Like last week, we were all quite surprised, right? All we keep hearing is this bad O-line in Philly, but Hurts played with the same line. Now, they did have some injuries. I'm not really sure if those injuries are going to keep everybody out. I don't think they had any permanent injuries like lost for the season. So I'm leaning with Philly. D. Jones?
Yeah, I think the line question for Philly is more pass protection. It's not necessarily run.
Right.
So they was able to get 2 100-yard rushers on the Saints, who rarely give up 100-yard rusher the last few seasons. So I was very impressed by that. I was impressed by his poise. The stage is definitely not too big for him. So shout out to that boy from the H, representing H to the fullest, even in Philly.
Shout out to my boy D. Pat. I mean, not you, D.
I know you do.
D. Walt, because that's his nephew.
It's all good. So yeah, Arizona is actually favored by 6 in this game. And I think that's really, I think it's kind of too high with the unknown of Jalen. I think if Wentz was still playing, I can see that because that same team. But with Jalen playing and given an added dimension with this run game, I think it's kind of high. So
you don't think it's a rookie 6?
Arizona hasn't shown me anything to be like giving him that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
I think it's a road rookie 6.
Maybe so,
because you would normally have about a 3 at home.
Yeah, so, they're gonna give you 3 for home. But,
yeah, so I say that's why I say like a road rookie 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Philly. I'm pick Philly to win. Definitely to cover that 6 points. So that I'll ride with Philly on that. I think it's gonna be a decent game. It'll be entertaining. The game last week was very entertaining. So Barry, you made some good points about that Philly defense getting pressure on Kyler. So I think that's gonna probably be the key to this game. So, Coach, what you say?
Miles Sanders really, really helped out Jaden Hurts as well in the run game last week. He had that long run all the way back on that towards the goal line. But I'm going to go with Philly with this one. Arizona's been in a little bit of a funk. I mean, it's like they're up and down. One week they're great, next week they're not. This week, they're great. And like you said, Tasha, you said feel good medicine for Arizona last week, but Philly is smelling. They have some veterans that still have some playoff experience, and I think Philly is smelling the playoffs to try to get into these to the division into the division mix again. And the play calling was totally different for Hurts as it was for Wentz, and Hurts was able to get some runs off. If he's going to get,
Some
he's
he
not going
had
to get 100. He got 100 yards, but I'm saying this time, if he gets 50, 60 yards running again, that defense and Hurts, 50, 60 yards running for rushing
yeah.
along with his passing this week. They're going to win this game. So, and that's what I'm predicting as well. I'm going, it's a sweep. We're going Philly.
Yeah, I had to put up Michael's pick. I mean, he doing these outrageous things. First, it's New England by 13. Now it's Arizona by 25. I think that you're doing too much. You're doing too much, Michael, because even a Taysom Hill can keep a team in a game. You are totally disrespecting Jalen. Now earlier, James, who is a Washington football team fan, he said that there's film now on Jalen. Sweetheart, that's one game. And he rushed over 100 yards. So when you still got those legs, I don't care how much film you watched on those few plays. Trust me, the coach can come up with a whole nother set of plays and not even repeat the ones from last week. Because the one change you have is you don't have the automatic chemistry, but you have the same core of the offense. So the offense knows the offense. So you just change the plays that suit Hurts better. And I think you can't even compare the two. Step in, Brandon. I see you with the hand.
I have one more thought. Do you think Murray and Hurts are about the same as far as their skill for their teams, or is it too soon to do that comparison?
I think Murray a better passer at this point. He's a better
Right.
passer than Jalen, but
the scheme that Arizona is running.
But I think with that little bigger body on Hurts, his run game allows for a difference. Now Murray is like that quick run. Yeah, it's that quick run. But I mean, I think Jalen can be more strategic. So I don't think, James, that 1 week is enough to say Arizona got all this film on him to where he can't play again. Because like I said, no offense, but we've seen, like I said, Hill has went out there and played for a few weeks for the Saints, and he actually had a better offensive game against Philly than they've had. They just couldn't stop Philly. They just couldn't stop the run game on Philly's side. So Hill was having one of his better offensive games, actually. So I don't think that that's going to be the issue. And like, how much film do you think Arizona's going to watch to just really destroy the Eagles? I don't see it.
My thing on that, T, is if you think the coach opened his complete playbook in 1 week for Jalen,
that's what I'm saying.
You're sadly mistaken. And if you're gonna go by 1 week for your preparation, you can only go by what you got. But if you put everything solely on that, if I'm a coach, I'm flipping at least 80% of what we did as far as the looks go. The play may still be the same, but I'm gonna show you a different look.
Correct.
And do different things with that. So you can't go by 1 week and 1 week's worth of film. You give you enough to at least
right. And I don't know, and I don't really know where you're going, Michael, because we said Murray was the better quarterback at this point. So I'm not really sure what you mean about selling to look at his shirt. You can't compare. You can compare. He's a quarterback. You compare quarterbacks with other quarterbacks, and you definitely compare them with quarterbacks who are playing. So that's every week. You always, even though the quarterbacks are not on the field together, we compare the quarterbacks that gonna match up. So it's time to move on. We done spent enough time on that, and we get to hit on Cleveland versus the Giants. Didn't think at first, we would really give this game a huge spin to talk about, but Giants defense sometimes is hit or miss, but they still in the thick of things with Philly too. So, it's important. It's interesting to see teams with these struggling schedules or records still have to be so competitive down the stretch. I actually like it because it makes the team keep fighting, in week 15, 16, 17, where you could have just scaled back and, gave up, as we hear the talks of wanting to bench your stars because you don't have anything to play for. But I know B talked earlier. He's not really sure about the consistency of Cleveland, but I think a couple of weeks of their consistency will give me enough leeway to say I'm gonna give Baker and them this week to say they gonna get the win. They would have to let me down for the New York to take it. D Jones.
Cleveland. I want to hear what B got to say.
Yeah, I want to hear this too because we only. So caveat: we are only talking about this game because when we went through our picks, he picked New York. So for whatever reason, he picked New York. The floor is yours, please.
I picked the Giants for one reason only. You hit the nail on the head. The defense. We didn't expect the Giants to win that 17-12 game with Colt McCoy against Seattle about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going with the Giants simply because of their defense. And I don't see Cleveland getting another 200-yard rushers in Hunt and Chubb. And Baker, I still don't believe in Baker. I don't.
You don't have to believe in Baker. It's the part that you just passed up, that run game. Derek, do me a favor. Wait a minute. Hold, you gonna finish? I'm gonna let you finish. Hold on.
I'm going for the Giants. Plus, I gotta try to catch up with one of y'all.
Hold on, sweetheart. You're not catching up with Derek anyway. You can be perfect the rest of the season. So that's fine.
I'm coming for
you.
And
I know you want to get to me, but you can't. D Jones, do me a favor. Pull up and let me know where the Giants rank in rushing defense. Just check that out for me right quick. And meanwhile, while you do that, we're gonna go back to Michael because he say he can't stand me, right? What you can't stand? What you can't stand? Cause I told you we got the right to talk about QBs. What you can't stand? That you want to pick Arizona by 25? Sir, that is not the Chiefs, okay? I don't know. It's the Cardinals. Maybe you got confused. Cardinal Chief. It can happen. But it's the Cardinals. So they ain't beat nobody by 25. Not right now. So you marinate on that. And look. This is even our Washington football fan. He knows that the Giants will win this week. That the Giants will win this week. That's what he say. But let him say that. That's okay. You are the dreamer though. So you saying it.
Hey,
D Jones, you got my number yet? You have my number yet so we can move on to this next game? Look. We know it's any given Sunday. We've never said that it's not any given Sunday.
And that's why I am picking any given Sunday. I'm like...
No, you picking to try to catch up.
No, I'm not. No. Honestly,
so you telling me you think they're going to shut both running backs down? Because see, if this was a regular team with one running back...
I'm not saying shut down. They're going to win the game simply because of their defense. They're going to win the game. I just don't trust Baker to go and have another 300-400-yard passing game like they did against Baltimore. But
he don't have to have that game.
So
he don't have to have. No.
Baker
my point is,
throw the ball?
No. What I'm saying is, you didn't trust what you saw when he played Tennessee either. So he could be heating it up. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right, the Giants are winning the game. All right.
Sure. Yeah, James, don't worry. We don't trust Baker either. We never said because of Baker. What's that number for me, D?
7.
They 7th in stopping the run?
Yeah, and rushing yards. Yeah.
Thank you.
And guess what? The Texans be dead last, and we don't know how they stopped some people a few weeks ago. Moving on, though. I trust those two running backs. Somebody gonna come through.
Hey, my thing is this. And then we can move on. My thing is it's not just stopping the run. Hunt don't get multi-purpose, bro. He catching. So they both getting 100, whichever way you want to add it up. They both getting
You
hunt.
you telling me Jones gonna put up
Okay.
enough points?
We'll see.
You telling me Jones gonna put up enough points?
He can.
No, I said, is he? No, I didn't ask you what he can do. I said,
He
is
can.
he?
I'm not even.
Say it.
And to
Say
to
it.
be fair,
Say
and
it.
to be fair,
Say it.
I'm not
You
even
already
saying
said it.
Jones is even playing. Jones might not even play. He's got a hamstring issue. Colt McCoy, Jones. It don't matter.
So you saying Colt McCoy? So you saying Colt McCoy? You Colt McCoy?
Yes, they're gonna win.
No.
They're gonna beat Cleveland this week.
No, I
The
can't
Giants
wait.
are beating Cleveland.
Look.
That's my upset pick of the week.
Look, that is Sunday night football, right?
Yep. The
I'm
Giants.
calling your tail.
We gonna be online.
We gonna be on the chat line with each other.
We gonna be online.
You
on vacation next week too? Oh, you gonna hear?
Oh, you gonna hit all night,
Yep.
all night,
Yep.
all night.
Yep. Okay.
All right, look. Now it's time to move on to our guys. They going to their rematch, Houston and Indy. They're playing in Indy. Funny thing is, I almost went to this game. I was thinking, I was gonna go up for the rematch. I changed my mind before the Chicago game, just so you know. I didn't change my mind because of the Chicago game, but I don't think I could even bear to sit. I don't think it's going to be as competitive as it was last time, but we've had some significant changes even since then. We've lost 2 more defenders, so I don't really know what to say, but just because I know that Brandon's picks are not going to come through, I'm going to stick with Houston. I can afford to pick my team. So, D. Jones, what you got? Even though I know that
our last game against Indy was really competitive.
Right.
Came down to that, bad snap at the end. Deshaun put us in position to actually be able to win that game. I expect Deshaun to do all he can again, but I do not expect him to win this game on the road. We're just trying to get through these last couple of weeks with him staying healthy without anything major happening to him. I don't have a problem with him playing. I do have a problem with him still being in the game in the fourth and late third quarter down by 3 or more scores. So yeah. We ain't gonna harp on it. We're just trying to get to our GM and our coaching search, which I like the candidate that came today. But yeah, I'm gonna say Colts. It's on you, Coach.
I'm gonna say Colts too. Actually,
you gonna switch it up? Yeah. It's cool.
I still love them, but James, we're not sleeping on the Colts. It don't have nothing to do with that, and we don't even care about what happened.
He's talking about Colt when we was talking about Colt McCoy.
Oh, Colt McCoy. Yeah. Oh, okay, my bad. We're not sleeping on him. We just think the other way. Yeah.
And keeping that thing with Colt, I'm going with the Colts. I mean, after last week, and like you said, our defense is struggling. Now you got Dunn and Reed hurt, and Reed hurt, and hopefully that next year Reed will tackle a little bit better. But
no David.
I'm going to go ahead. Yeah,
the focus now is to see what the young guys got see if they work keeping around.
See what Hagan gonna look like.
And I'm okay. I'm okay with Deshaun playing. I am. Like you said, I'm with D. Jones. I would have put him out the fourth quarter of that game for that, being down 3. But I get what he wants. He wants to keep the reps and going to the next season with some feel good stuff. I'm just going to go ahead with the Colts. They're at home. They're in the playoff. They're a playoff team, and they're getting, they're going to straighten out their defense for game number 2 from 2 weeks ago.
Also, what people keep forgetting, we still have something to play for. We need to get as many wins as possible to lower the pick as much as possible for Miami. We don't want to just. Right. I know it ain't gonna be that much of a change now, D. Jones.
It's a catch-22 because
it's a catch-22.
We lowering their top picks, but then that also lowers us in the third round, pushes us back even further. So we need all we can. We got 8 picks.
Yeah, we might have a few to bounce up.
Yeah.
So we might have a few.
Yeah.
But we gotta just keep the theme of Brandon's shirt, dream. And so speaking of dreams, we gonna head on over to KC and New Orleans. They at home. It's our game of the week, and I don't really know what to say about this game of the week. I guess you could say, I don't know. I think I tried to give the Nola the benefit of the doubt last week. Like they had it all together with this, trickery under center. And because of the consistency of him being out there for a while, that, they would have enough defense. And that goes back to your point about your other team you think gonna win. You could have all the defense in the world, but if you can't put up enough points, it really won't matter. So I just think it's gonna be a good game, but I still say the Chiefs got it. D Jones, especially with you gotta score when you play the Chiefs. You have to score. And the Saints have stayed in these games, but not with scoring. They stayed in the games with stopping the other team from scoring.
But what they can do is slow the game down because they're gonna run, right? So
Yeah.
they're gonna run, and the best defense for them, even though they have a really good defense, but the best defense for them is to keep Mahomes on the sideline. So I think it's worthy of a game of the week. I'm with you. I'm going with Kansas City on this, just really because they don't really have a quarterback over there. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you need a quarterback when you play. You need a quarterback when you play the Chiefs. I'm not talking about what they've already done. They were playing teams who had new quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks. I mean, Denver was a defensive battle, but the quarterback found out on Saturday he was playing quarterback on Sunday.
Yeah, just a reminder, Tyreek Hill is crazy fast. Right. So
what did I say earlier? He only needs 15 seconds. He needs 15 seconds.
Right.
The reverse play when he ran was like 30-yard touchdown, and he just ran past everybody. You can't,
and he wasn't even going full speed.
You can't defend that. You really can't defend that.
See, the crazy
no, give me your pick first before you start. What's your pick?
He said,
you starting to talk, but you ain't got no pick.
I said I'm going with Kansas City.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to make sure.
I'm going with Kansas City on this one. No, I wasn't getting foolish. I mean, I'm not. I mean, the only thing that was foolish that Kansas City did was that 30-yard sack that Mahomes took last week. And I mean, that was crazy.
No, it was.
Go for 30, then you do the 30-yard pass play with Tyreek Hill or the reverse. But what I'm saying is I'm going Kansas City simply. Taysom Hill is the quarterback. I mean, if it was Drew Brees, we can have a little bit of a conversation about, the quarterback going against the Kansas City defense. But the only way New Orleans is going to win this game is Kansas City just has one of their worst offensive games. Don't see it.
But their defense can slow them down. They got a defense for them.
The defense can slow them down, but what I'm saying is, can their offense keep up, like Natasha said?
Yeah,
but
I'm with you.
I'm not discrediting
my government
the New Orleans
name
defense.
On TV.
I'm sorry.
Gransberry.
Like Gransberry said.
That's your government name
and
too.
But I mean, I don't use my first name in casual settings.
If Mama called him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay.
No, my mama called me what she wants to because she gave birth. You call what I say you can call me, and I say don't call me by my first name.
Yeah,
but nah, you'll be all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, B. Go ahead.
Kansas. No, you good because I'm done. Kansas City.
I want to have a brief conversation before we get off about this interesting debate about where do you see the MVP race going, right? The top was kind of like Josh, Patrick, and Aaron, A-Rod. And it really comes down to the same old concept, right? The better team, which is a little unfair because it's supposed to be who's the most valuable to their team. And then your outlier is Henry and Derrick Henry. And I really believe that if you were using the true logic of that player that changes your team, it really is Henry. He creates a whole new look for the Titans to keep them in games because for the last few years, they've always had a play action quarterback. Even for all the injuries that Mariota had, he was a play action quarterback, but Henry just changes your dynamic immediately. But the real conversation is coming down between Rodgers and Patrick. And more feel like Patrick has more of a better team. So he's not really an MVP. He's just the best player. And that's not the same as MVP. And I think that's unfair because usually when we're talking about MVPs, we are starting the conversation with the best players. It's always going to be a conversation about the best players and which one of them will be the MVP. So who's more valuable? I know that there's more pieces on the offense of KC, right? But I think that it's still a lot to be said for him to make all those pieces work. Because what most people don't pay attention to in the stat lines and the analytics, Kelsey is number 1 in yards over everybody, over every receiver in the league, right? And that's remarkable. But at the same time, I just want to know where you guys kind of stand right now with the Patrick versus Rodgers, because that's really, who's in the thick of it. We got the outliers and the people we think that should be in the conversation, but the conversation now is leaning toward those two. And somebody wanted to put a dent in Patrick because of the 3 turnovers, and I'm like, but we don't even remember them. We have to. They didn't even matter. So I don't know how we having a conversation about it. D.
I wish they would change this award, me personally. I think the quarterbacks need their own award because the MVP in the NFL will always be a quarterback, especially because they're touching the ball all the time and if they have the gaudy stats. So I think Mahomes is going to probably win this. I'm biased to A-Rod, so because I love the Packers. So I'm not going to speak on him. I'll just say you can't really look at the talent because in any of those situations, you could throw Russell Wilson in there too. They lost a few games, so he took a step back. If you take those guys off the team, their team immediately loses at least 3-4 wins, right? And you can say the same thing about Derrick Henry. You take him off that team, and they're going to lose a couple of extra games that they wouldn't have. You have to account for him. So I don't really like to say. I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes just because.
With the way they vote, right? Because I agree with you with the way they vote for the actual award. I don't know why they won't make a quarterback award because you can't ever really get value for your best player because it's happening across sports. Just briefly, if you think about basketball, they do it all so wrong. It's like first they look at the top teams and then they pick the MVP candidates off the top teams. And it's like, but there is another team that is everywhere that they are because of one player.
Because of one player.
B-Pat?
I'm with the Patrick Mahomes thing, the way they vote. But then A-Rod doesn't have the talent that Mahomes did, and he still rises above. And then you have Henry, who touches the ball probably more than his own quarterback. So, and he's always, if he doesn't get the 100, 200-yard games, and then some of the memorable plays that he's had, Henry can be in the mix. And then they're going to slide in Josh Allen because he's having a great season himself, but he's not better than Mahomes, Rodgers, and Henry. So it's out of those 3. I'm going to go with Mahomes based on the way they vote, but I think it should be Aaron Rodgers because there was no way that people were thinking they were going to win the NFC North the way they're winning. They've won the NFC North because they were
all they do is win the North.
They were right.
The North.
They were talking about Minnesota was going to give them the Bears and then Detroit. Come on, but what I'm saying is Rodgers has proven, and Rodgers got 6 interceptions as much as they passed the ball, and I mean they're gonna pick Mahomes. He's gonna win it, but I think Rodgers should get a little bit more credit than what they're giving him credit for.
Man, he's in there.
And then you got
he's in there.
He's in there, so he's getting the credit. But you can't take away from Mahomes just because he got talent on the other, talent catching the ball.
He still got to hit the talent.
Yeah, he still got to put it where they need to put it.
No.
And also, our commenter James, I feel what you're saying about Josh, but the problem is, people keep forgetting, Josh and them were in the playoffs last year. They got beat by Houston. That remarkable comeback we had. Okay, so
and the media don't forget playoff
so
performances.
no, they don't, and it makes it harder on your regular season because you have to outdo what's necessary. Just like last year, it was a clear front runner, Lamar. Like there was nothing Patrick could do to outduel Lamar. They were still winning in Kansas City. He still made the playoffs. They was the number 2 seed, but the MVP of the league was Lamar. So just because you think, and Josh is not doing it with less. They traded for Diggs. He is not out there without a top 5 receiver killing it. So he killing it with his receivers. So let's not do that either. I think it's just the level is like it's doing this. It's a teeter-totter. It's just that the teeter-totter of Patrick and Rodgers is a little higher than Josh. And then the games we needed to see Josh win, he didn't. So that's when it's not sure if it all can be on you. And that just is what it is. So
that's why I was kind of glad Josh actually had that performance or had an opportunity to have that performance against Pittsburgh.
Correct.
And maybe get some. And I agree
get
with
some
he's
traction.
Saying about
right.
He's saying something about boredom. I agree with him. But the fact is the fact of how they're going to vote or how it's going to be.
But
Josh, you can give Josh
we can't get into this board conversation and do that to people, because that goes back to like Derek and I have these conversations about It's like you're penalizing greatness and you're bored because they're consistently great. No, what you want is to keep seeing improvement of the other people. So you like that this year Josh is in the conversation, right? You like that Aaron re-energized himself. Aaron has not been in the conversation every year, so you can't be bored with him. You might be bored with media talk, who always just kept saying he's great, but he was not in the MVP conversation for like the last 3 years. I mean, he's had injuries and everything else. So at the same time, we can't penalize people for being great and call them bored. That's not what we want to do. We want to highlight. So
make sure we appreciate the greatness.
Right, and I don't think anybody's answer is wrong if you like a candidate over another one. That's why it's a great conversation. It's just that I don't want us to get into the conversation of using boredom as a logic to pick somebody else. It's like, I remember I had this awesome employee, right? He worked for me, and every week I used to give away awards, and I would give away awards for best employee. And everybody was like, well, he keeps winning. But then other people started working with him, and they was like, he is awesome. We do really need to do more to beat him. It was never like, it's not a favorite, right? Because obviously my favorite is Watson. But if somebody else is consistently great, I've got to give them their due credit. So you can't get caught up in media. That's why you got to watch the games for yourself. That's why we, even on this show, that's why, Derek had to look up the stats. We don't have a stat person sitting behind checking everything and feeding it into our ear. Also, we're not going to the major networks just to get the updates on the games. We're watching them so we can tell you how we see it. Not for you to always agree, but so you can see what we're taking and putting into context. And so with that, it's time to say goodnight and thank everybody for joining us this week. We will still have a show next week before Christmas, so still look out for that. It'll be week 16, the last show dang near of the year. Well, games before the end of the year, because the next game will be at the top of the year. But I want to thank B. Pat for joining us tonight, and tell everybody where they can find you, B. Pat.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Coach P. Pat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You basic. I'm sorry. I don't know why I be thinking you got some really
simple. Yeah.
You's a dreamer. We're going to be ready for you on Sunday Night Football, though. And D. Jones, tell everybody where they can find you before we say goodnight.
On Instagram, D Jones 9804, and on Twitter, that boy D Jones.
And as always, you can catch a girl on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as the Gransberry. I keep it simple, yes, with my government name, as D. Jones so reminded me. But it's the government name that I choose to go by. And yes, you can't get my book in time for Christmas, but you can get it in time for New Year's. You know, have a new year, new look. Learn a little football. That's right. The Gransberry Gridiron Guide is available at Amazon on Kindle. It's available at thegransberry.com 24/7. You could even make a request for me to autograph it. But as always, I want to thank you for joining us tonight and remind you that I am not in last place. That would be Coach B. Pat. And with that, catch you next time.